A couple of days ago, GothamChess commentated on Chess.com's Speed Chess Championship. To best catch you guys up on what actually happened, I think it's gonna be good to take you through my understanding of the full situation, which will make sense later. Thousands of people were extremely unhappy with some of the comments that Levy made during his commentary on sports betting and gambling. I'm going to read a couple of comments verbatim so you guys know just how annoyed people were with Levy. They said, "I like Levy, but he's always been a sellout who likes money." They also said, "Gotham, for all the good he has done for the chess world, he will always be a POS." There are hundreds, if not thousands, of comments alluding to the same thing. So you would imagine that Levy probably stepped out of line. If literally thousands of people are saying the same thing, you should probably be inclined to believe it's true. But one thing that really irked me about this entire situation was that nobody could give me a single clip or even a quote of what Levy actually said during this commentary. So naturally, I watched 20 hours of Speed Chess Championship footage to actually find what he said. Now, I'll admit I was watching it on my second monitor while I was doing other things, so there is that slight chance that I missed something, but I'm pretty sure that I watched everything and I found out what they were talking about. The following clip is what Levy actually said.
Now, how about this? The Chess.com pre-match prediction. We've got statisticians who worked on this. 65% win probability for Hikaru Nakamura. I don't know how he's scoring 4.3 points in the 1+1 section, David. I'm assuming that's supposed to be a 5. But let's put it this way. They really think he's going to win this match 6.5 out of 10 times.
Hikaru had clearly looked at it. Mind games.
Yeah, and for those curious, by the way, after that Alireza win, the poly market odds have gone up by 8% for him, which is incredible. He now has a 2-game lead, 4.5, 1.5. This is not the scoreline that was predicted. It was 4-4. He surpassed that, and Hikaru has way to catch up. Loses, and that is a win for Hikaru Nakamura, clutching it out after 4 wins in a row. And that probably flipped the odds of poly market once again. Now we got one more game remaining.
So before we continue, it's probably a good idea to mention that Polymarket is an official partner of Chess.com. But the question is all of this actually a problem? I don't like gambling being shoved down my throat as much as the next guy, but people's frustration and anger being taken out on Levy is so disappointing. Levy read out the match probability during his commentary. It's a common practice in every single sport that has ever and will ever exist. One of the main reasons that commentators read out statistics like this is so that casual viewers have a better understanding and expectation of what they're watching. Let's say you only watch classical chess and have never paid attention to online chess before. How are you genuinely supposed to know that Alireza Firouzja is a genuine contender to beat Hikaru Nakamura more times than not if you didn't have the statistics? He's nowhere near Hikaru Nakamura's level when it comes to classical chess, so why would you make that assumption? And that's assuming you even know who any of these players are. For people just getting into chess who might only know who Magnus Carlsen is, these statistics are going to be very useful for your understanding of the game. And by the way, I did see Hikaru's segment a little bit later in the stream, which I won't put in the video because it is a little bit longer, but it is a much more egregious example and pretty much has Hikaru telling you what to bet on if you want to make money in the Speed Chess Championship. I don't agree with that at all, but it's a lot different to Levy reading out the probability of who is going to win the game. Of course, it's a very slippery slope to go down. I mean, today it's Levy telling you the statistics and the probability of Magnus Carlsen winning. And tomorrow, it's Levy telling you that if you refer a friend to Polymarket, you'll get $50 added to your wallet. But the problem with that argument is there's no slope yet. Commentators bringing up statistics in their commentary happens in every single sport in the world, and 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with gambling. If you watch the Premier League, the commentators will probably tell you that if James Milner gets substituted on, he will break Gareth Barry's appearance record. Sure, you could probably find a way to bet on that, but who genuinely thinks that is the reason that they're saying that? They're not saying it to convince you to go and bet on it, they're saying it because it's an interesting thing to know. The whole point of a commentator's role is to convey to the audience what's going on whilst making it interesting. It's very clear to me that if Polymarket was replaced by a company that purely tracks statistics, no one would have a problem with what Levy said. So we're essentially saying that Levy is not allowed to do his job as a commentator because Chess.com decided to partner with Polymarket. I'll be the first to agree. Polymarket is a bad company. Their regulations are terrible and they prey on young, impressionable minds. I do not like Polymarket. I also don't like gambling or sports betting in general. I do think that there are ways to do it responsibly, but the entire system is built to be addictive and done irresponsibly. But this whole situation is such a misdirection of people's frustration and absolutely does not fix the problem that anyone actually cares about. Anyone that is annoyed about this is upset that chess.com now has a partnership with Polymarket. That's where your frustration should be aimed at. You could also argue that Levy could just say no to doing this commentary role. He could choose to not affiliate himself with chess.com because of their partners and his moral beliefs. You're absolutely right, he could do that. But why on earth would he? If Levy had to stop collaborating to anyone that had ties to an immoral company, he may as well retire from being a chess creator. All those videos on Magnus Carlsen would have to be deleted, as he's tied to the sports ministry of Saudi Arabia, who have immoral practices. Same thing with Hikaru, he's tied to the same group as well, so he can't make videos on Hikaru either. He would have to stop making content on chess.com whatsoever. Even tournaments that are somehow tied with chess.com, he would not be able to make videos on. You see how not working with people who have affiliations that you don't agree with is a slippery slope, and it stops you from collaborating with absolutely anyone. You could say this is different though. If Levy makes a video on Magnus Carlsen, he's not really promoting the immoral ties that he actually has. But he didn't do that with the Speed Chess Championship commentary either. He read out statistics for the game that he was watching like any other commentator of any other sport would have done. He didn't promote gambling, he didn't promote sports betting, he just read out statistics for the game he was watching. I think this frustrates me so much because acting in this manner to someone who is constantly trying to better the chess world has such a negative impact. By going after creators who constantly do the right thing and demonizing them for things like this, you are telling not only Levy, but all content creators that you will be demonized no matter what you do. And if you don't believe me, I'll give you an example. In May of 2022, Botez Live did a stream with Do Kwon where they allowed him to promote Luna, which was a crypto coin. Literally 5 days later, Luna crashed. Majority of Botez Live viewers who invested in Luna would have just lost all of their money. You wanna know where Do Kwon is now? Jail. In August of 2025, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison for fraud directly related to the ecosystem of Luna, the same crypto coin that Botez Live allowed him to promote on their stream. They never addressed this, they never apologized for it, and they definitely didn't reimburse any of the fans that lost their money. They swept it under the rug, and we basically never hear of it. Botez Live promoting a crypto coin that crashed 5 days later has gotten a genuine comparable amount of backlash to what Levy did in this video. This kind of disproportionate backlash is so terrible because it will only tell creators to do the wrong thing. They know they're going to be demonized anyway, so why not make a little bit of profit while they're at it? It is genuinely pathetic. There are very good reasons to be angry right now. There are moral questions to be asked of chess.com, but hating someone like GothamChess just by affiliation is absolutely not going to solve any of the problems that you're having. It's only going to make things worse.